Welcome to the Uncivil Mentality Podcast. I'm Erik Vidal.
And I'm Reilly Kilbride.
Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, Dave, we love to start the podcast with a brief intro about you. Tell us about what you do, where you're from, all things Dave.
All things Dave. Well, first and foremost, thank you for having me on this. It's always an honor to be in accompanied by two studs like yourselves. My name is Dave Mauldin. I live in Maryland. I work in Northern Virginia for Loudoun County Fire and Rescue. Been on the job for about 16 and a half years. Should probably start with husband to a queen of the castle, father to three awesome kids, ages 9, 13, and 17. They kick ass. They get after it on a daily basis. And I'm a fireman. Love the job.
Absolutely. Are you on a ladder truck or in an engine? Tell us about like a little bit more about your department.
I've been on heavy rescue. Been on that for coming up around 7 years. And prior to that, I was on an engine, kind of in a rural setting. And prior to when I started off at a recruit school, I started on an engine also at a more busier firehouse, I guess you would say.
Real quick, have you been affected by Helene or the surrounding areas, or you guys are good?
We're good, man.
Thank God.
Wish we could have gone down to help, but
Yeah, some task force are going out there and
yeah.
recovery efforts. Surprisingly, there's a lot more dead people than anticipated, or initial reports.
My captain, shout out to Captain Inman. He's on Task Force 1 for South Carolina and went up there for like a 10-day deployment in parts of South Carolina. They said the work that they did was like grunt work. Like they were just working their butts off, 12-hour work cycles, 12 hours on, 12 hours off.
Yeah.
And just him coming back, man, the stories he was telling were definitely eye-opening. Just super admirable for all the people up there doing the work and trying to get those places back to real life. It's going to take a while, but every effort is seen and
For sure.
acknowledged.
Yeah, I can only imagine, man. I mean, especially in like, it's I guess it's unaccustomed for it to be such devastation in like a hilly country. So you have all this runoff from the hills. Usually it's in these flatland lying areas and everything kind of rises and drops.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard just about all the mud flow, and a lot of that grunt work is digging through all the mud, and just the stories are crazy, man.
They
I
said
can only imagine.
they cut through trees for probably about 12 hours straight. Just a straight line of a mile and a half of trees just going straight through to try to rescue someone.
I believe
Yeah,
it.
that was like one of the things they needed the most was like just new chainsaw chains because they were just
hmm
burning through chains so much.
Where Megan and I got married is kind of gone. Like we got married up in Burnsville, North Carolina, which is part of like close to Asheville, and it's underwater / destroyed. Crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
But it's been kind of inspiring to see the the the
Community
camaraderie
men.
in the community. Yeah, it's
Getting after
people
it.
getting their hands
Yeah.
dirty and helping. I like that. Unfortunately, it took a disaster for something like that to happen, but you see the people that are willing to help and people that are willing to, like I said, get their hands dirty and do the right thing. So kind of encouraging.
It's always good to see people step up.
Mm. Shout out to Chance Craven. Chance is always out there doing crazy shit. I mean, he's in helicopters, he's in cutting chainsaws. We love that guy. Hopefully, we get to talk to him soon. But yeah, it's cool,
Yeah.
man. The firefighter community is always, relentless and reliable. I'm always in like admiration of the guys. We always step up.
Yeah, Chance, man, I obviously follow him like most do. Dude's a master with the camera for sure. Love seeing his stuff.
So Dave, we love your Instagram handle. As we're talking about social media, the Daily Refinery, we love it. I know Erik enjoys it. Where like the Daily Refinery, where'd that come from? Tell us about like your point of view and the story you're trying to tell, which I enjoy it.
I mean, I've always thought that, first and foremost, we need to be healthy. And I think if we're going to be healthy, we need to be healthy from a physical standpoint, uh, and from a mental standpoint, and also from a spiritual standpoint, you know. And I tell people, whatever that is for you, I don't think we have a soul. I think we are a soul. And I think, you know, we need to work on that too. I tell my kids all the time, you know, yeah, you can be physically strong, be stupid, and that's not helping
Yeah.
very much.
If
Uh,
you if
you
you're
can
gonna be
be a
done, be
brainiac
tough.
yeah, you can be
Yeah.
a brainiac and a bookworm, but can't lift 5 pounds, and then you're kind of useless there too.
Mhm.
Um, you know, one of the things that I also think about too, it doesn't really, I guess it falls in line with the daily refinery thing, but how Jordan Peterson, you know, he's like, you need to be a monster, but have it under control, be able to tame it.
Mm.
And I think that that also it falls in line with the spiritual uh, comfortability, and also the emotional intelligence of being able to be calm. And so be smart, be strong, be healthy here, and also be able to be calm too. Just all that involved, and then do it on work on it on a daily basis. As we know, with what all you guys do and what I do, I mean, it's a consistent process. It's not something that occurs overnight. It's not something you do once a month and make it work. It just doesn't work like that.
Right. It's never ending. And like I said before, I'll never get there. And it's never enough. There's nothing you can do that would be suffice. Be like,
I
yeah,
love
I'm good.
you always put real things on there. Like you put the struggles. Like we've talked about in the past that, you know, social media is a highlight reel and I feel like that's kind of overtalked, but putting the real life struggles out there for people to see like vulnerability and authenticity is why people love the Daily Refinery, why people like can get behind what you're doing because authenticity you can tell when it's real, when it's not.
Yeah, I mean, dude, like that last or that one last post, that highlight reel. I've always, man, I know I'm talking about my kids a lot, but I tell my kids, man, you know, daddy's always going to keep it real with you. You know, if you effed up, you effed up, you know, if you did good, I'm going to tell you, you did good.
Hmm.
And I think that's just one of the huge downfalls of social media is all we see is these just highlights. You know, we you know we see the Ferrari, we see in other avenues we see the girls, we see the big mansion, you know, but you don't see like the 5 years of work, or the 10 years or 15 years of work that it takes to get to that, and the struggle, and the sacrifice. You know, some people give up a lot to get a lot.
Hmm.
I
I
just
mean,
always see Erik running shirtless on a bridge for some reason. My algorithm always puts that video of Erik in my social media for some reason. I'm like, there he goes again, that guy shirtless running on a bridge.
Do you have
The
it
internet
saved?
loves
It's
that.
because you have it saved or something for sure.
Yeah. Wait,
hey, well,
I've been
I just
exposed.
watched. I just started watching the reflexes, so I saw more Eric than I thought I'd see.
My
Yeah,
man, my
exactly. I
man.
was watching that with my wife. I told her to look away.
It had to be put out there just to tell the story. But
I
on the
dig the
lines
hair,
of
by the way.
the hair, no, it took
Yeah, man, bring it back. It looked like a
so
samurai warrior.
so full disclosure, I spent a year plus trying to grow out my hair, my facial hair, etc. And then the planning was to shave it off for the scenes and where I was a soldier, and so there was a lot of planning involved in, you know, making sure the edits were on point, and I did my due diligence, make sure because once I cut the hair off, I mean, there was no going back.
Yeah,
So
you can't reshoot that.
Right.
so so yeah, man. I mean, there was some thought put into it. I mean, I gave it all I had at the moment, and you know, that was the fruit of my labor or the final product, which is something tangible. It's just a testament to like when you want to do something, you hunker down and you know you commit yourself 100% to the project or the mission, and you know I was able to accomplish that. So yeah, along the lines of the daily refinery, what I like is what I really enjoy are the training reels or just the voiceovers of you speaking, um, whether it be a confined space or an extrication or a RIT drill. I mean, I really enjoy that, and I look to your page for for motivation and inspiration. So thank
You
you for that.
also have a voice for that. Like your voice is kind of like you could be like like a voice actor. Like your voice is very like you have a voice and it's very controlled. I love
It's very
that.
soothing. Oh,
Yeah.
let me say this right quick before we go off tangent. When we were in Georgia, one of the most memorable times on my rides home with Uh, Dave, going back to the hotel after getting our shit pushed in for the day, or just the whole training evolution of the day, and I just vividly remember talking to Dave and, just talking about our day and what happened and what could we have done, or just a story from him back at home, or him talking to his wife, or touching base with his family back at home. And I was like, yeah, this is where I'm supposed to be.
Right on, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely vivid memories
Yeah.
for sure.
So where does your passion for training come from? Did you like get into it early in your career, or as I'm stealing Eric's question, was there an epiphany that
For
you
sure.
said, I
For
need,
sure. That has to be.
yeah,
Yeah,
there has to be some moment.
um, I mean, to be honest with you, no, I didn't. I always worked out, always was into trying to, be fit and get that stuff involved and everything. Um, I don't think I don't, like I told some people, the difference between being on the job or into the job. I don't think I was really into the job for a long time. I don't think I did a bad job, but there's a big difference between being into the job, as we know, and just and going to work and being on the job. A lot of people do a good job, but they still really aren't into it. And it just, I mean, it probably started, I'd say, coming up on 3 years ago, man. One day we were going to the gym, and we're blessed with an amazing training facility, that we could do O course type of stuff, and like D1 level gym equipment, a big facility with recovery rooms and all that stuff.
Dang.
But I said, you know what? I said, every time we go to the gym on shift, I'm gonna put my gear on, because I never really did that a lot, and I'm gonna breathe air. And I said, I'm gonna do it for a month to see what changes, what happens. And I did it. And like probably after the second trip, to the gym, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
This is different. Hey, this is different. But I started just like picking up these like little fine things, like and stuff. It's nothing crazy. It's nothing super advanced. It's the basics we should all know. But just how many breaths I got when my vibro alert goes off, how many breaths I've got, or how much air I got when it goes amber, where things are on my SCBA that I should be able to easily, like instinctively access, not even think of twice about it. And it just, I guess what it just was a snowball effect where I got to start doing more things. And I started doing more. Oh, wait a minute, there's outside training. So
Mhm.
then that's when I kind of started jumping into the outside of my department. The first place I went to was FDTN, which is an incredible training place. If anybody has the opportunity to go there, highly encourage it. What they do there is really good for sure.
Don't you feel like that dread when you have to do something, like, fuck, man,
Mm.
this sucks. Just that feeling of dread and uncertainty or just doubt. I just like try to attack it. Like,
Yeah,
this is exactly what I have to do. That's where your fear is. That's where your work is.
Mm.
yeah, that's yeah, man. I mean, even from a science standpoint, I do listen to a lot of podcasts, every one of y'all's episodes.
Thanks, brother.
But I listen to a lot of Huberman, and he talks about like that interview with Goggins. I think y'all mentioned it prior to this, but
Hmm.
growing that anterior midcingular cortex is when you do things you don't want to do.
Mm.
And it's much larger in healthy or athletes people. It's much smaller in unhealthy people, rightfully so. Um, just doing those things that you don't want to do. Every time I see it, man, I don't want to do it.
So in my brain, I try to figure out what are those things for me, like because we love to train. Like, what is the thing that is working that part of your brain, like in this maybe season of life, the thing that you don't want to do that you're making yourself do? This is actually a question I had prepared for you, so it's super great segue.
I mean, dude, I love audiobooks and I love podcasts. I'm on the road a lot outside the firehouse or fire department. Um, I I just I hate reading, man.
Yeah.
I know it's super good for you and everything, but I pick up a book in like 2 pages and I'm ready to fall asleep. So that's probably one of the big things is um and I guess here we go, public knowledge. But I'm studying to for the next lieutenant's process. Our We have a list out now that's probably going to exhaust soon. In December, a new process will come up soon. So digging back into the books,
Mm,
getting into that stuff. Because I like you guys, man, I love putting my gear on and getting after it. So I don't
Yeah,
that's not growing
yeah.
that
right, exactly.
cortex. So reading is probably one of those things. You know, I don't know. I mean, I like the cold plunge. A lot of people hate cold water. I like getting in it.
Yeah. For me, it's been like mobility slash stretching. Like I hate to stretch. I hate to do mobility. I know it's necessary because super tough on my body, but diligently doing that every day, 20 to 30 minutes, it adds up and it makes me feel a lot better. But in that 20 or 30 minutes, I am screaming in my brain of like, I don't want to do this. I hate it. This is silly. Mostly because I'm not very flexible, but it's a process of that. And that's the only thing like I know that I don't want to do that bad. That's growing that part of my brain. We need to do what's the acronym for that? Because I can never remember what that's actually called.
The anterior
Anterior
mid
mid.
cingulate cortex.
Yeah, we need a like an army acronym for that. Anterior mid.
AMSC. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. AMSC. Well, all right. Now here's a question for Eric. What is the AMSC working currently for you? What are you doing that you don't want to do?
At the moment,
Yeah. He's like, man, I don't do shit I don't want to do.
I get up early. I get after it. Um, right now, I'm just doing the things I have to do. I don't even think about it, honestly. Um, something that I don't want to do.
Getting
Nope.
up early is one for me for sure.
Mm,
I just have to. I just don't even think about it. If I say I'm gonna wake up early the night before, I wake up early just so I could check that block saying, I did what I said I was gonna do. Um, if I don't do something I say I don't do, then that's probably it. That's like a kick to the gut,
yeah.
because damn, I let the opportunity pass me by, or I didn't say what I was gonna do, and then I just beat myself up for it. But as far as training, man, I'm doing everything I had to do. So yeah, well, we'll circle back to this question later on.
For
All
sure.
right.
Dave, what are you currently prepping for? What are you currently working towards besides getting back in the books?
Here we go. Well, November 15th, I'm going to take a drive, driving down to Dalton, Georgia.
Absolutely.
So, very, very, very grateful for that. Very,
100%.
very excited for that. Um, I mean, when I tweaked my back in July really good.
Hmm.
So I was like, man, this sucks. Like, I don't even know. It was going to be a struggle to come back, going back to your mobility thing. I have been doing everything.
You might be the reason why I've been more diligent.
I mean, sauna, cold plunge, acupuncture, PT, dry needling, massage, um, morning, midday, night, stretching, everything. Feeling good and just trying to get after it in gear every day. But that's on the forefront of everything right now. Obviously, I haven't stopped thinking about it since February, so um,
Yeah.
definitely excited to get back down there for that.
Was that called redemption?
Totally.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's just like I talked to Reilly outside of here, and I was like, I mean, the first time I went to GSD, man, I was like super amped. I was like, let's go. Let's get after this.
Hmm.
And I still have that mindset. This time, I just like I just feel so grateful to go back and I know it sounds crazy to some people, but to go experience that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. So some people wouldn't understand. Some people just don't get it. But you have to be there to experience it, to appreciate the environment you're in, and the people you're among. It's just the network, right? And the experience that comes after it. It's just unreal, surreal to say the least. And what you get out of it is who you are,
Mm.
you know,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
truth. So I was asked, and this is nothing towards you. No, I mean this is nothing. I just you could do everything right. You could do every single thing right, and still not come out on the other side because of whatever. So when I was asked, I was like, you have to be 100%, because even when you show up, you don't wash your hands properly. You eat something with your dirty hands. Now you have the bubble guts, or now you're ill. Uh, you get injured. One of our guys blew out his shoulder because he wasn't 100%. Um, and yourself, whatever happened, tweaking your back. I mean, these are just accidents, man. I mean, out of your control. I mean, so luck did play a factor. I think Chief David Rhodes spoke about luck. You could do every single thing right, and then luck will play a factor into, regardless of preparation. So just the mere fact that you're going again and towing the line, man, that says a lot about you. And I'm just honored to know you and be in your presence, bro.
To know the ass whooping
Same,
you're
brother.
about to get and then show back up, like that's admirable for sure, man. I'm struggling currently with like, and I think this is all of us is like we're we're tied to the result. Like sometimes we're so tied to doing this thing that we'll, if like you said, if we're not lucky enough, if something bad does happen, our identity is tied up in the result of this, and it's a struggle for me to disassociate those things. Is that, guess what, if I make it, awesome. Guess what, if I don't, awesome. Like I'm still worthy. I'm still all the things that I want to be. I'm still Reilly, whether or not, but hopefully whether. But it's a constant struggle for me to not tie my value to the outcome.
Yeah, I mean, I was I had to bow out in day three, but it is a constant 24/7 view of yourself in a mirror. I mean, that's what it is. You are constantly looking at yourself in the mirror. Um, and lots of times you don't like what you see in the mirror. Um, so it's a phenomenal program. I mean, if you asked, obviously I'm not one, but if you asked any smoke diver out there, or just thought to yourself, I just want to go be a part of that club, that's not what it's about
Mm.
at all. Any of those guys would gladly give you the t-shirt because that's not what it's about. It's about the experience and you dealing with yourself and figuring out and working through that. And that's why I'm like super grateful to be going back and looking back in the mirror again. So
Seems like
That
really
that's
crazy type of
priceless.
therapy.
There's no amount of money or monetary value that you could put on that experience.
um,
It's just priceless, bro. And
Yeah, Dave's been my go-to mental counsel. Every time we go back and forth text or a phone call, he's just been like really open to listen and kind of give me his point of view. So super grateful for that, brother. Like that's what we need more of, I think, is good dudes we can call when we need something.
yeah,
So Dave, let's talk about being a dad a little bit. We've been, since we started this podcast, we are 3 weeks out from having our son. And tell me a little bit about how that, and Erik, you can speak to this as well. How does that change your perspective of the job? Like, do you show up differently? Does your thought process change? Because I'm interested to see what actually happens within my brain now.
well, sit down, put it in a seatbelt and press go, man.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, I heard something a long time ago. Like a lot of people say, the work-life balance, the balance this, the balance that. And it was like a leadership speaker. I can't remember who it was. I'm probably butchering it, but he said, stop trying to be balanced. He's like, because if you're trying to be balanced, if you put 1 ounce, like if you imagine like a triple beam balance, if you put 1 ounce on one side, it tips the scales and then you're no longer balanced. He said, so instead of thinking about being balanced, be centered. He's like, when you go to the firehouse, be centered in the firehouse. Obviously, things happen, your wife calls or whatever, but be centered. When you go home, be centered at home. So I've always tried to remember that, and wherever I'm at, and I fail at it too, like everybody, but try to be centered versus trying to balance everything. Because if you only got two items, that's hard. Well, now add another third or a fourth. You got your fire department career. You got your wife you got to tend to as well. You better tend to her, and or your significant other. And then you've got your kids. So there's a lot of things to try to balance. Instead, try to be centered in those things.
That's solid advice, brother. I like that. We try to do our best. Like me and my wife and I, obviously we talk every night before I go to bed, and she does a really good job of saying like, we'll deal with this later. Like, don't worry about what we got going on. Like, don't worry about the gym. Don't worry about this or these issues that come up. When you get here, that's when we'll deal with it. Like, she does a good job of letting me be centered. In the when I'm at work, I'm at work. When I'm at the gym, I'm at the gym. When we're together, we're together. Like, very, very similar to what you were saying. So, staying centered. I think I like that. I'm gonna steal it.
Being a dad changes you. When I was younger, not a father, I would do things without hesitation, reckless, call it what you will, because I didn't have someone depending on me back at home. Okay, so full transparency, and I saw this on social media the other day or about a week ago. I've been off since because it really fucked me up. That's how much of an impact it was or it had on me. You know the Formula One driver Fernando Alonso,
Sure, keep
when
going.
he used to go up against Michael Schumacher. There's this one classic line, this quote that he goes, "Oh, I knew he'd break because he has a wife and two kids at home." And that phrase, because there were so Fernando Alonso passes Michael Schumacher on a turn, and Fernando Alonso was reckless. Michael Schumacher wasn't. Mind you, he's a husband and a dad, and the other guy did not care. So then I had to really interpret that line. Oh, I knew he'd break because he's a father and he has two kids. He has 2 kids at home and he's a husband. So I've been off social media ever since. I got off. I got off
Sometimes that shit'll
Instagram.
scare you, bro.
I got off all that stuff, and I was like, man, how would I hesitate in a situation knowing that I have people that depend on me back at home?
Mm.
So then I was like, oh man, I mean, I'm overanalyzing this, right? I'm in my mind, I'm in my head. Would I do certain things because I have my loved ones back at home? I'm like, man, I need to find I need to find myself again, type of thing. Not
Yeah.
being reckless, being cautious, but aggressive, right? And having the knowledge and tools to be able to take action when called upon. So yeah, man.
It's
I mean that I just said don't be balanced, but I do think there is like well, I
Be
mean, like what I
present.
mean is like, yeah, when before I had kids, I didn't care, man. I was doing all
Yeah,
kinds of stupid stuff.
sure.
But like take it to the like I love being in the mountains. All it's one of my passions. And big mountains. So like, when you're uh when you're walking up a mountain at 14,000 feet with crevasses on your left and right, in very dangerous, risky environment. There has been thoughts going through my head like, what the hell are you doing here? What if you just slipped, and you got kids back home that are relying on you, your wife's relying on you. Um, so there's that, you know, be careful about how much risk you take. But then there's also the aspect of like, I want my kids to see dad living life,
mm.
because I want them to go live their lives and do those things, So there is that
Yeah.
balance.
It's a
Correct.
like a double-edged sword, like
Right,
duality of thought, like a dichotomy.
right.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah.
just I don't know. Yeah, it's gonna change, and I know I'm okay with that because from my thought process is that the like life nutrients, like the enrichment of life that is going to be having a son and having a wife and all these things are so sweet. I have to be okay with being a little bit more or less reckless. You can't have this like beautiful, beautiful thing in life, a life experience that kind of, it makes life worth living to not be able to be okay with accepting, okay, maybe I shouldn't do this because now I have this. So
Hmm.
being okay with that, being at peace with that also, I think can really help me. But yeah, giving up something to get something, it's always there's an exchange rate for sure with those types of things. But I've already like started to get it in my head. Like even when I go to there's a dark place in a workout where I don't, I'm getting tired and I'm breathing heavy and like, who am I gonna be when my son gets here? Like what moments, that's a kind of already like the brain fuel or the fuel that I need to help me keep going. So it comes with that too.
Oh, dude, I mean, well, going back to you talking about quitting, going back to the GSD thing, they're standing there holding Eric's hand, and he was like, "I got you, bro. I got you." And
Hmm.
I was thinking through my head, I was like, there is no way I can quit this. Like, because the last thing my 17-year-old son, he's just like, well, just don't quit, Dad. And I was like, one of the hardest things to do was put it hanging up that webbing, because I was like, I just let my son down, you know.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm being really transparent now. That sucked.
Yeah.
And it's a long drive from Dalton, Georgia to Maryland to think about that.
Yeah.
That was tough, man. Um, yeah, that blew.
But
So
if everything went according to plan, the life's movie wouldn't be so great. Like
yeah,
there's got to be you know, antagonist to the story,
you
there
got
has
to
to
keep
be.
moving forward. It was
Yeah.
Broberg says failing forward. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
keep going forward, man.
yeah, I resonate with that. That's a solid phrase. Fail forward.
Oh, I saw a
I
video of
like the
that.
connotation of failing. Like I don't the
The thing
association of
that
the word
the
fail.
internet showing me Erik holding two men hands while he was running. I was like, well, I get it.
Yeah.
He's just in the middle
No,
holding two guys' hands.
in that environment, there's no ego,
Mm,
right?
Uh,
This is a standard. The standard is to, grab your smoke buddy by the hand or by the webbing, and then that's what you do. I mean, there is no. I didn't think twice about it. We know who we are, and yeah, man, something as simple. I got you, bro. I got you. I'm right here with you. And I made Dave do a couple up downs, a lot of up downs.
Whoa, what happened?
I didn't sound the floor on one revolution. Hey, man, I wasn't perfect. All right, I
Wait,
made
hold on.
mistakes.
Can we repeat that? Repeat that, and then
Yeah,
loop it, and then
I made mistakes too, man. I wasn't. I needed people around me that were better than me. And in that moment, I fucked up, and we paid the price. And so he was right there with me.
that's fine. Charge it to the game, brother.
yeah, yeah, ain't no big deal.
Yeah,
It was like 50 of the 5,000. So,
yeah, exactly. 50. That's also pretty spicy. That's all.
uh, yeah,
Gotta
man. But
try
we
to.
got these stories, right?
Yeah,
And now we have this this experience that we share together, and we can reflect back on it, and you know, and talk about it, and hopefully,
Meg,
pass it forward.
Megan and I were talking about level one fun and level two fun. Level one fun is like riding a roller coaster, and obviously that was fun. Level two fun is doing something that's maybe not great or like kind of like a shitty situation, but will be fun afterwards. It'll be fun to talk about. So we talk about having the baby is going to be level two fun. It's
oh
going to
yeah.
suck. It's going to suck and it's going to be a process. But later we're going to talk about how awesome it was and how we enjoyed it. So level two fun compared to level one fun.
Well, it'd be level one for you, level two for her.
Well, dude, I'm gonna be in it too. Like, I think I I have like a registry of tiers for the year. Like, I have a quota, and it's just gonna all come out that day. Like, I've been saving them up, dude,
You
and
know?
it's just if they have any pictures, it's just gonna be me crying. It's gonna be that Snapchat filter where the person's just crying. That's gonna be me. So, gonna let it loose, brother. Gonna let it loose.
Got to, got
Yeah,
to.
I can't wait. Can't wait. Dave, what have you trained today? What's the training plan for the afternoon or for the morning?
Actually, I was going to get up and swim this morning. I did not. I had to do some dad duties. But no, I mean after this, I'm gonna actually I got an appointment at 1 o'clock. Going back to that mental thing, going to talk to somebody, man.
Yeah,
Um, to
Okay.
be transparent again, it's probably a couple years in the making. Something I thought might be um, I don't know, preventive maintenance, if you will. Uh,
Exactly.
totally.
I feel like I tell a lot of people I don't think you can work more than 5 years with what we do without having some head stuff.
Mm.
I don't care who you are. You either admit it or you don't. And if you're not admitting it, still got something going on. We just see too much stuff. So going on 17 years doing this and 6 years in the military, um, I just decided like, you know what? I think I'm pretty good, but a lot of this stuff is cumulative. It's not necessarily acute, like, happens. And that's probably what prevented me from going to talk to anybody for a long time because I got buddies in the military, specifically special ops, that I thought they needed it more than I did because they had acute occurrences. Guys like Erik, man, you've been to combat. I never went to combat. Um, but speaking with some good people in that space, they're like, no, man, I mean, they need
Mm.
it too, but it's also very cumulative. Like, if they have 6 level 10 events and you have, 600 level 2 and 3 events, all that stuff adds up. So, I mean, I do a lot of stuff, working out, cold plunge, sauna. I'm very try to do as best I can, but after a while, I was like, you know what, I probably should go work on that too if I'm gonna complete everything that I should do. So first time today, man, going to go speak to somebody about that.
Dude,
Um,
I'm blown away at your vulnerability, man. Thank you for sharing that with us.
yeah,
You're the
yeah,
second person that in the last maybe 2 weeks that we've interviewed that has shown like been able to tell us that they need that. And that's what we need more of is as badass guys of being like, yeah, I need to see someone, I need to talk to someone, I need to get it out. We need more of that. So thank you, man. That's awesome.
yeah. I don't want to be at year 20 or retire and then all of a sudden be like, holy crap, I am jacked up, you know.
Right.
So to me,
Seeking guidance, seeking answers to, you know, assistance with a an issue or a problem, just like teachers or a coach would. Just like there's nothing wrong with that.
yeah, man.
There's nothing wrong with that. Michael Jordan had a coach, Tim Grover,
Tim Grover,
Yeah.
yeah.
Let
so and countless other examples, right? I've sought help with things I needed to work on and, to be the person I had to be or I wanted to become. So it's cool,
It,
man. I
you
sought
definitely got the wheels
counsel.
turning for me, man. You got me inspired to go do it myself. So that's already one person you've helped. So thank you.
Yeah, and this is also, I mean, this is on the heels of some brothers of mine that I work with at my firehouse that have assisted me
Mm.
over a couple of years. Hey man, like, you talking to somebody?
Mm.
Yeah, done wonders. And then
Yep.
like a couple months go by, who you talking to? Like just
Yep.
kind of slowly probing.
Hmm.
Well, they recently we had our annual physicals for our department, and they reminded us in there is that through our like EAP program, you get like 5 or 6 visits, just that kind of like help to go talk to someone. And I was like, I feel like I, you can talk a lot about what the fire department doesn't do for you, but then you see these benefits that, well, they are doing this. They're trying to do these things for us, and it's up to you to kind of take advantage of those opportunities. So I can't be mad at the department if I'm not utilizing the resources they're already providing. So it's kind of on me now to take those and utilize the resources. So instead of like throwing your department underneath the bus, you probably should learn what they do offer and then utilize that. And then, and then you could maybe have an opinion. But yeah, I'm not utilizing the resources and I'm interested in doing that. So thank you.
Yeah. And then after that, I'm probably going to go run for an hour and do gear work.
Yeah, there you go.
Get it in.
Get back to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been putting in the miles, man. I've been doing a lot more running since we talked on the phone, and I actually have gone to. I kind of like it. I've been doing like different days where I'll run for distance, run for time, run with a watch, run without a watch.
Hmm.
Running it gets you in this really weird. Well, I wouldn't say weird, but very. The headspace is very, clear.
Yeah.
Because I'll
Exactly.
finish a run and be like, I feel really great.
The last, I would say probably the last 2-ish months, maybe 3 months. One thing I've implemented is no music,
Hmm.
no podcast, no audiobooks, just silence. And I mean, it's at first I felt uncomfortable. Like I need something to pump me up or whatever. And now I look forward to it. So my anterior mid-sink is not growing anymore.
Yeah.
But
I've always had like good running friends tell me the best runners don't have music. If you want to be a fast runner, the first way to tell if someone's a good runner or not is see if they're using music, and
yeah.
then if they do, they're not a great runner. So yeah, I love that. I love not using music. So
Yeah, man, my son and we're gonna do the Army 10 miler on Sunday.
sick.
Looking forward.
Gangster.
Yeah, he asked me, he's like, "Hey dad, can I run that?" Because
Which is life goals, dude. Life goals. If my son ever asks me that, I
yeah.
will be ecstatic.
I was on the website like in 5 minutes. I was like registered him. Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
Yeah, before he can change his mind, do it. Pay for both. What's swimming look like? What kind of like distance and stuff like that? I know for me, putting like getting in the pool is good because it doesn't put a lot of damage on my body. It's not a lot, especially with all the gear stuff and the added implements that we do. It's impactful on the joints, and the swimming for me is it doesn't put a lot of impact on my body. What's that swimming training look like?
I usually go, man, and it's nothing crazy. I'm not really doing a lot of, I'll do one of two things. Um, I will go and just do a quick warm up, like a 200 or 300 warm up, and I'll just swim for time.
Mm,
Like almost like a zone 2 type of
yeah,
swim because I'm there more just to work on my breath work, like to really calm myself and good real breath work. And if I'm not doing that, again, it's a breath work thing. One of the videos I put up is about hypoxic swimming.
mm,
Well, I'll try to work on that, and that's more breath holds, so where you like swim a lap and every 2 strokes you take a breath, and then the next lap every 3 strokes, to where you're just doing almost no, you're not coming up for air for the entire lap.
yeah,
That's a disclaimer. Don't do
yeah.
that by yourself.
Yeah.
You
I
can
am not a
die.
professional.
I'm not a
Yeah.
pro, but yeah, definitely do that around people because you can get shallow eye blackout and not be good. So
Yeah. Nothing fancy. Just work.
Eric,
yeah,
you were in the pool a lot in the last
I
couple
was.
months. Have you been swimming at all
Not
lately?
not recently, no.
Yeah, I need to get back in there.
No. But I swam for an hour. I swam for an hour at one point and I was like so fucking ecstatic. I was so happy, dude.
That's
I
dope.
was just like, yeah, I was like, yo, I swam for an hour. Yes. That's
that's
Well,
it.
about yeah. Like when I do that zone 2, that's about 45 minutes to 60
Yeah.
minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
so
Never in my life did I think I would swim for an hour, but I did
Bro,
it.
you're in Miami, man. You got water all around you.
yeah, you're an island. So I learned how to swim from YouTube. Like, and I learned how to swim when I was a kid, but like never for technique or for anything like that. So I YouTubed how to swim and learned how to swim. I did some triathlons, but like when I first started swimming, I had the mindset of like, I know my pace when I run. I know my pace when I get on like an echo bike or an assault bike. I'm gonna just do that same pace in the water, and that's not how that works. That's not how that translates at all. And I've had to do a lot of work there. I've also kind of done. I don't know if you follow Laird Hamilton or like XPT is his.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
does a
yeah.
lot of like underwater carries. Um, and we've gotten into that a little bit more in the last year. When we do our water training, I'll take the dumbbells out there and we'll do like different kind of like breath holding techniques where you like move the dumbbell and your partner has to move the dumbbell,
Mhm.
do some like farmer carries in the bottom. I think that stuff is fun, but the breath work, I mean, you guys, both of you have kind of beaten into my head that that's going to be pretty important. Um, is just controlling your breath and learning how
Mhm.
to, get that heart rate down. I love the pool. I saw that you're like swift water rescue type stuff.
Yeah, I mean, on the heavy rescue, we do all the complements of that. So I'm definitely, I mean, part of the Swiftwater team, and we do Swiftwater ice rescue. We have the Potomac River.
Yeah, I was say what water bodies of water surround you guys?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I mean, the main body of water, I guess the biggest body of water is the Potomac River, divides Maryland and Virginia. We respond to that a lot, for boaters in emergency or just whatever. Um, but Loudoun County kind of, and I'm probably butchering this, but it grew so fast that it developed so quickly. All the land development that happened really changed the landscape of things. So there's a lot of different lying areas with water and flowing here and flowing there. We've got some pretty decent sized creeks that will go over the banks and turn around, don't drown. So
Yeah. Well, with all the recent water, flood water, and all the rushing water with the storm, they were saying that a lot of the rivers will be changing. They'll be different when the water does come down.
Well,
A lot less features or more features, or the features will be changing. So when the water finally gets back to a normal flow, we're got to do like a bunch of area familiarization and kind of re-familiarize ourselves with the area because if the rivers change, we don't have a game plan anymore. Like we got to figure it out again. Um, we we finally got the boat in the water the other day, and we had to go through, I mean, a bunch of flood water to even access the river. We passed someone's house and the water levels up to like the window level. It was pretty cool to get the boat out in those conditions, but it was kind of scary.
yeah.
Water's relentless. Water does
Oh,
not care.
no, no, it doesn't stop.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the times when I'm instructing it, I tell a lot of the students, see, look at what you got right now. Now if the river rises a couple feet, a lot of the big features that we're looking at right now, you won't be able to see,
Mm.
they can be undercuts or they can be strainers and stuff that you can get trapped by. Um, so just pay attention to that. I mean, it's a water's an unstoppable force, man. It made the Grand Canyon. So, you know,
S- So I got a question for you, Dave. Working on a heavy. Our department has a heavy in the works for next year, and of the disciplines that comes with heavy rescue, there's a debate going around of like, should just the tech rescue guys be on there? Should there be a water rescue guy on there? Should there be a hazmat guy on there? Is it possible to be a professional type level at all three of those realms on the heavy? Like, how does that happen? Do you have to find guys that are, good just tech guys, or just good water guys, or hazmat? Because you got to be all good at all three.
yeah, it's tough, man. First of all, hazmat, they can do their own thing.
I
Uh,
think we all agree with that.
Yeah, I'm on board.
I
Yeah.
love hazmat guys. That's not my thing.
Yeah, no, they're different breed.
Uh, but I mean, all our heavy rescues, you know, do it all really. We have one of our minimum standards is 3 Swiftwater techs on there.
Hmm.
So that's part of it. But I mean, everything from, structural collapse to rope to confined space, to trench, um, all that. It's really tough to stay in line and abreast to all the because all that stuff is evolving, man. Every time you turn around, it's like we got to do this, we got to do that. The technology in all those realms is crazy. We're constantly trying to, like everyone, man, you're trying to get more efficient and trying to get better at the skills and techniques. Um, so
That's a lot of things to have to be good at, though. That's
it is. Yeah, we've often like I was talking to my lieutenant the other day, or one of the guys too. I was like, "Do you think it would be better if we just did trench for a month, and then did con space for a month, and then did rope for a month, Or do you think it's better for us to every shift, do rope on this shift and then do con space and then
Mm.
make it like a 6 to 8 cycle where we come back and do that? For me, I like to do a lot in one block. That's how I train jujitsu, like
Mhm.
if I'm training, I don't know, side control or something like going to the gift wrap to do
Mhm.
a choke or whatever. I will do that for like 6 to 8 weeks and only try to do that for so I've done it I've repped it out, quality reps so many times. And it equates to the fire service, like throwing a mile of ladders, man. You throw a
Mm.
mile of ladders for a month, you get good at throwing ladders. And
That's
you
coming up.
all
I'm gonna do
little
that
small
again this year.
things, you know.
Yeah. I'm that kind of guy too. I got to do the reps. I got to do the reps like relentlessly, just dedicated to doing the simple things. Like doing a lot of different variations or different techniques, or I got to just literally do the same thing over and over and over again until I'm that confident in it. But yeah, I don't know if it's possible to be excellent or proficient in all realms, but um 15 years of experience might help with that as well. I think you're you're pretty well versed at that point.
I feel like I'm getting dumber every day, man.
It
I mean,
happens.
it's a lot, dude. You know what I
It's a
mean?
lot. Hmm.
But I do enjoy it for sure. I mean, I work with giants. I mean, my boss is phenomenal in the space. There's guys that, on my rig and on all our shifts, on the other heavy rescues down the road, that are just, at a national level. Some of them are at an international level. So it's cool. I mean, iron sharpens iron, as they say. So it's cool to be around people that are better than you. You should always.
For sure.
100%. I want to ask you this question. Something that you want to pass on to a student, even your son, like, okay, son, this one piece of advice will guide you for the rest of your life. What would it be? And I know I'm putting you on the spot,
Yeah, but I said
but
this is some pressure because I'm writing this down too,
I
brother.
just felt compelled. I just felt compelled to ask you. So anything you want to pass on? Um, anything.
Um, I think, well, always keep it real and always do the right thing. And even when it's hard, and that's tough. Um, yeah, that's put me on the spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just keep it real. I mean, people will, you'll get more out of people by being real with people, um, and doing the right thing by people. You know, I preached a lot about leadership or whatever, and humility that's I think that really is humility in itself is being real and doing the right thing, even in the face of adversity. Um, there you go. Keep it
Dude, that
real.
was
Keep it
home run
Thank
if
real.
you.
you ask me.
Right thing.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah. So we like to end this show with our favorite question. We talk about mantras or inner dialogue or stuff like that. What's your go-to like, tackling fuel in the words of the water boy? Like what do you use to keep yourself going when the bullets are flying or when you're in a tough spot?
I uh I change that up from time to time. I kind of depends on what I'm doing. Like when I was climbing, Mount Rainier, uh, I'd go on my training hikes or whatever, my rucks and stuff like that, and literally for a couple hours by myself, Dave Mauldin will summit Mount Rainier, not climb, summit Mount Rainier, and I would just say it over and over and over and over. Um, but lately, it's uh it's two things. It's be grateful and look in the mirror. Be grateful and look in the mirror. Yesterday we did this workout. Buddy of mine from down in Chesapeake, Virginia. We kind of developed this, and I have to give copyright to Matt McGee.
Mm.
But it's McGee, obviously in full gear, uh, doff your gear, go run a mile, come back, don your gear, then do McGee again. It's like,
Holy shit.
it's brutal.
That's
Um,
spicy.
and like on the second round, about the set of 30, 30-ish, um, you start feeling it pretty good. And I was just like, I'm trying to smile, like, be grateful, man. Be
Hmm.
grateful. Be grateful. Like you're doing this. And then if I get a little frustrated, I'm like, look in the mirror. Look in the damn mirror. Look in the
Hmm.
mirror. Look in the mirror. Keep looking in the mirror. So that's my two, man. Be grateful and look in the mirror.
I love it. I love
Damn,
it.
that sounds.
How blessed are you to be in that opportunity to get to do the first McGee, run the mile, and in the round of 30s, you're already there.
Yeah.
You're there.
After the 40s, you kind of give a little bit of mental clarity, I
Still the
think.
30s suck and the 20s and then man, that final 10. But for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, it will behoove you to do McGee in full gear, mask on, even if you do it off air or whatnot. But
I've done it
but
a
yeah,
lot of
a staple.
variations. I've been trying to throw it in training like slick, just because of pants, full gear. I've been just trying to throw it in there as many times. Because for me, in my brain is like, if you can't handle the reps slick, you're not going to be able to handle the reps with 60 pounds of gear on you. So like running through it slick more times than not, like kind of gives you those trust blocks to kind of put the gear on. You can't just go from not doing the reps to McGee with full gear. Like that makes zero sense to me. That's
Yeah,
going to be terrible.
it's
Yeah.
rough. It's a
But
good one.
Yeah,
grateful
that's
and look in the mirror. Hell yeah.
well, Dave, man, we appreciate you coming on here. This was a great conversation, and we're just super
Yeah.
grateful that you were here, man.
I'm honored you guys had me on, man. You guys are awesome.
Well, we're down to the nitty gritty with what's coming up next for you, and if we can either provide any type of anything, you let us know and give us a ring.
I'll be in touch for sure.
Absolutely, brother.
Thank you,
We
sir.
appreciate you.
Absolutely.
So, to all the viewers and listeners out there, the Uncivil Mentality Podcast. Thank you for joining us. On behalf of myself, Erik Vidal,
And I'm Reilly Kilbride. Get after it. Get in your gear. Start f***ing training. It can never be enough.